Today we're going to cover the navigation of the C1000 monitor in an MT700D tractor. First off, you see you have your encoder on the right hand side, and then you have selection buttons on the left and right side. Down on the lower right of the monitor you have your home screen, return to home, your escape button, and then this is an ISO button, which we do not use. On the first screen is the highlighted by scrolling your encoder. Select the screen icon, and that is a work screen. And this is your settings screen. We'll go in there first. This just shows your regional settings, your terminal settings. You can change the contrast on the screen. And then we have advanced functions and auxiliary assignment. To set regional settings, simply touch the top button, and you have a selection. You want to have English, a period, the other option is a comma, and then time and date. We'll go to time and date first. Set the date type, so if you want it to read December 31st, 2014, you would select that type. We have other options, 2008, 12/31, and so on. So we want to go to the 12/31/2008. Select that. We want to set the date. Today's date is June 13th, which scroll into that, 2014. Come down, and then we have set our time, which is 12-hour or 24-hour. We are going to select the 12-hour AM PM setting. And now we will set the time that we have. Current time is 11:05. And then when we're done with that, we simply hit our check and accept the changes, and then hit escape, which will take us back to our screen, and then we want to hit the home button, which will take us back to the home screen. Then we want to scroll on to the tractor icon, which is our work screens that it takes us to. When you highlight the top of each section, you can press in the encoder and it'll bring up a menu of options. The first setting is for our engine settings. All this is just giving you a reading of the engine settings, how it is operating as the tractor is running. Next, you want to highlight that, and next we have our transmission settings. Select the yellow icon button up here, and it will take you in there. Then you are able to change the default gear on your tractor. It comes from the factory as gear 7. We highlight that, and we can change that if that is too aggressive of a takeoff speed. Then hit escape. It takes us back to our working screens. Select. Next is our hydraulic menu. And when that comes up, press the button next to the highlighted or the color-coded icons, and it'll take you into that screen of all your hydraulics. You notice the buttons on the side. This tractor has 5 hydraulic valves. Select one, and then you can go in and change your hydraulic flows simply by selecting and turning the dial. To select a kick-out time here, and select the length of time that you would like your hydraulic valve to run. Or if you would like continuous, select that. We also have a priority icon here. By checking that box, it will assign priority to that valve. Then we hit escape, and it takes us back out, and we can do it again on another remote. We can change those settings. Next, want to go to the instant screen, which shows how your tractor is performing at that particular time. You notice the icon is a calculator. This creates a memory. If I select this, it's going to take us to a memory screen where we can select it. You notice it is highlighted in green. If I hit the check mark, an hourglass will come up and it will shut that memory off, and it will be a gray. So I want to select it to turn on a memory. That's one of the first things you want to do. Is the screen that we're now looking at is our memories or job screen. Simply click the encoder and it brings up the memory name, a work trigger, and implement with. What you want to do is you want to highlight, press in the encoder, and it brings up a screen that you can put in an implement name. I would hit the shift key to give you capital letters, and we're going to put field cultivator in there. Scroll to the F and C. And if you can see it, there is a FC up in the upper right hand corner of our screen. Hit the check mark and it saves it. A work trigger is, in this case, is we're using a hydraulic remote. Every time we activate that remote, it will record whatever we are doing. Implement width, we have it set at 50 feet. Going in, you can change to whatever your implement width is. Then hit escape. And you'll want to hit your check mark to make your icon green, which means that your memory is on. That is in your measures and instant screen. Next we have power management. This is your average screen. Shows fuel consumption that you've used. These are averages. Escape. Next we're going to go to power management. By selecting the button next to the icon, it brings up our 4 screens here. We have our engine speed A, which can be chosen down here. And then we have our engine speed B, which can be selected by pressing this toggle switch. To change this, we can simply scroll up to the RPM here, 1750. And if I engage A, it will lock in at 1750 RPMs. Hit the button again to turn it off, and we can do the same on A. On our speed set, we can have a set speed for constant ground speed. Say we were going to do field cultivating at 6 miles an hour. We would set our speed, and you could simply depress the constant ground speed button here, toggle switch, which would set that ground speed. You have to be moving to engage that button. On the max side here, this is going to give you max output. What this does is if you're doing heavy tillage work, it's going to upshift, downshift based on the speed that you want to run at. And the next button here is the decel set, and our decel pedal is down here on the right. We can have an RPM set so that if you want to come to a headland and you want to use a decel pedal, we could have that set at 1300. So when we reach the headland, we simply depress the decel button and it will slow the RPMs down to 1300. After we make our headland turn around, we release the decel pedal and we go back to the RPM we were running at. Next we want to go to our wrench, which is tractor settings. You can have backlighting on your screen. You can change that. We've got it set at 100%. So if we turn that backlighting down, it'll change the backlighting on the screen here. turn it on. We want to have our radar turned on. You notice we set our implement width at 50 feet in our memory screen. We have a delay light shutdown, and you can put it for however many minutes you would like to have that light left on after you were working at night and you wanted to see where you're going. After you turn the tractor down, shut the tractor down, it would stay on for 2 minutes. Then this is your slip alarm. If you're slipping 20%, an alarm can come on. Then we have our idle shutdown. So after working the tractor all day, you want to let it run for 10 minutes or so. After you park it, set the timer for 10 minutes, and then you have to check the box that says enable, and we have an icon that comes up here. Simply hit set, and you're good to go. When we turn the tractor off, it will continue to run for 10 minutes or whatever time you so desire to have in there. Okay. Next we have calibrations here. You can do slip calibration, steering calibration, and radar calibration. Next we come to our one touch. This is if you want to set up a series of functions as you're working in the field. For example, if you want to raise and lower your implement, simply hit the button next to the icon, and we want to select the hand, and you notice how the box is highlighted in blue. First thing we want to do is we want to select the first function you would perform, so we're going to drop our tillage into the ground. So then next, we're going to insert a box. And what I want to do here is I'm going to drop, and then I'm going to set my RPMs, have a preset engine speed. Scroll through this and find engine speed A. Maybe. There we go. Then next, I'm going to put an icon that is a pause or a sound. And what that does is tells me that we are done with this sequence and we're going to move on to the next one. And so the next sequence when we come to our headland is we're going to raise our implement, and then put that there. Raise our implement, and then we're going to slow the tractor down, and then we put our pause in. So that is our sequence. I simply hit the check mark, select start, and we're good to go. So if I activate my headland, push the button, raises our RPMs, hit it again, hold it for 2 seconds, slows us down and raises our implement out of the ground. Once more, push the one touch button, 1001, 1002, let it go. We're going back into the field, we're dropping our implement into the ground. Select it again as we come to the headland. And that is one touch. Next, we have a screen that shows your track tension. You notice we have green and red, yellow and red. As long as you're within the green, your track tension is fine. And that is a quick review of the C1000 and the MT700D series.